Welcome to part 2 of my interview with Gilbert Young. Let's hear the conclusion of this interview and what he is saying about art today.
Behind us, Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier today, I was on social media and they explained how someone made a post that the original Statue of Liberty was of a black woman and that it was gifted, of course, by the French to the United States when the United States ended slavery.
Right.
What is your social and political take on liberty, and why did you decide to paint that particular piece?
Well, I use liberty because one, it has been most people are not aware of its original art to history and to our history. All right, they think it is all about their history. We look at the Statue of Liberty and Remy, you're poor and you're tired, and so on. But like you said, that was about the United States giving up slavery, and they're celebrating us or the United States giving up slavery and saying, hey, we want to give you a piece in recognition of what you have done. Now, you got to remember, we had a war with France, right? So actually, this was a political ploy on their part. Hey, let's get back in good with the United States, give them an award for not upholding slavery, and they took them forever to get rid of slavery here, because we were the last country to do so. And the maquette that they first used was of a black woman, but that strangely disappeared once they went over there and see what they were going to give us, and then it came back with this Greek-looking goddess figure that has, and I think to this day, I haven't been to New York and look at the bottom of her feet, but I heard that they still have chains on the bottom of her feet, on one foot. That's a broken chain. Yeah. Now, what would a Greek goddess holding this torch up in the air doing with chains on? Certainly she wasn't enslaved too. So these are kinds of things that I use to make social statements. I have a young man, I use the Pieta, Michelangelo, Mary taking down Jesus. Instead of Mary, I use the Statue of Liberty, Black Statue of Liberty, my interpretation of Black Statue of Liberty. I use the black young youth that had been killed, that street bullet shells down to the right of the painting, or to the left of the painting. There's a torch, the torch of freedom has gone out on the right side. And so you have this a familiarity with this image, but then it has a new content to it. It has something different in it. It has something that speaks to, wait a minute. And I did a large canvas of it that is about 23 feet by 20 feet. And it has the Constitution in the background of it. So you have this Constitution, right?
Yes.
And then you have this what's happening here, and all the oppression and all the situation, and we're still fighting today for the equality of America. Listen, it is such a tragedy to be in 2020 to be talking about reparations, and there has been no reparation. 400 years of this oppression, and we're still talking about it because this country decided that that's not their priority. It's only a priority for us to be free, and the only time we can be free, and I believe, is that not submitting to every thing that they have. There has to be some of the value that we maintain. We cannot sell our goods to them constantly and think they're going to have an appreciation for it. Because when we do have these great artistic jewels that we develop, the next thing you know, they're in a world that we can't get to.
So with that being said, and it sounds like to me there's so much more of the arts in you, and that you are ready to stretch out even further. What's next for Gilbert Young?
We're going to try to develop a publishing house that will publish young black artists' work and some of some of the well-known artists as well. Just working on projects, constantly working on projects, wanting to do pieces, joint ventures with artists themselves, and just whatever there's opportunity to show off my ability and to also say something about our current society. We as artists must be the ones that say, here's how we feel, and this is the beauty of our community. One of the things that I look at is holding our feet to the fire and saying, look, you may do this, and the big question, and here's what people will catch, kind of try to trap you, like in one of these news programs where they ask questions to trap the politician, And the first thing they say is, what is black art? Right? And this came up in the 60s and the 70s, and it was a big controversy, what is black art? Because mainly our arts is figurative, but it could be interpretive, and it could be anything that, if it is done by a black person, I consider it black art because it's coming from the soul of that black person.
Mr. Young, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a pioneer and continuing to show other young artists the direction that they can take with their artistic skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much, family.
Thank you for being a part of History Today by watching this interview with Gilbert Young. Join us next week for more behind-the-scenes talk with Gilbert Young and Harlem-born artist Nathaniel Stepney. See you next week at 3 p.m. on YouTube. Remember to like and subscribe below. And if you like what you're seeing, support us by visiting us at GY1part2.outlook.com. And remember to visit Mr. Young's virtual art gallery at gilbertyoungart.com. See you next week.